never seen by such a young man at this stage in his career. And I gotta say something, this is a little bit extreme, but I was thinking about this during the fight. Like, I mean, I knew that the fight wasn't going to go to distance, and I actually thought that maybe it was going to have to be stopped by Chris's corner before he got hurt. And no one ever did that to Chris Algieri. Chris Algieri's a real fighter. But I have not seen body punching like that since Sugar Ray Leonard.
I'm in the mix. I think I'm in the top 5. I'm in there with Lacy, Kell Brook, and Keith Thurman, Sean Porter, Danny Garcia, and the rest of those guys. I'm right there. And I'm the #1 mandatory for Kell Brook, so hopefully we can get that in real soon.
I was going to ask you how quickly, well, put it like this, do you think that your next fight can be for one of the world titles, whether it's against Kell Brook or one of the other champions that are involved with PBC and Al Haymon?
It could be, but if it's not, hopefully later on in the year I get to fight Kell Brook, but I have to talk with my team, and you know, I'm in no rush.
What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, hit the like button on this video, as well as go check out my website. Here at Boxing Ego, working hard, trying to give you guys the latest and greatest. Got a bunch of new articles up. Shout out to my dude Bakari. He's putting in work. I'm putting in work. We putting in work. And I had to talk about this because a lot of people don't even know about this. And you guys see the title of the article. Kell Brook throws shade at possible future mandatory Errol Spence Jr. And I'm going to paraphrase. You guys can read the full article. And I'm going to give you guys a little tidbit as to what's going on. Now, the thing I love about being a boxing reporter and the new media and the internet is everything is preserved and documented. So things I say then, you can compare it to what I'm saying now. And I made some videos recently, and I'm gonna pull them up so you guys can see, because that's how new media does it, right? Now read this. The growing hate for Errol Spence Jr. Part 1, TV ratings edition, hashtag new media boxing ego. So 7,000 views, a lot of participation, people were talking, giving their feedback, and I made a follow-up because I wasn't finished talking about it. The growing hate for Errol Spence Part 2, steroid accusations edition, 3,000 views or whatnot. So when I made those videos, some people are, oh, what are you talking about? Errol Spence Jr. is getting nothing but respect and love. Now, shout out to guys like Amir Khan and Berto. I did a video and an interview with them, and they praised Errol Spence Jr.'s performance over Chris Algieri. Amir Khan says, yeah, I'm definitely a fan. I like his combination punching. Berto said more of the same. He said he's a young, hungry lion, and I like where his head's at, right? But the reason I did the growing hate videos was because I seen a lot of hate coming out, and a lot of people agreed with me, but there were some people who said, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. No one's hating on Errol Spence Jr. And then look at this video. Shots fired. Freddie Roach roasts Errol Spence Jr. for Pacquiao remarks made. Basically, Freddie Roach got offended because Errol Spence Jr. at the press conference. All these videos are on the channel, so you guys can do the research and watch them, click on them. But basically, Freddie Roach responded to Errol Spence Jr. saying that Pacquiao lacks fundamentals, and the reason he was able to stop Chris Algieri was because that's what him and his team practices, fundamentals in boxing. And I agree with him. Pacquiao is a great fighter, but he does lack fundamentals. You can get mad, you can toss and turn, but it is what it is. I'm not saying, oh, Spence will... Just listen to this video. I'm not even going to get into that, Spence versus Pacquiao. But a lot of people get mad. Oh, why did he say that? Pacquiao's done way more. That's cool. The argument is not who's done more. Clearly, Pacquiao has done more. He's been a pro for over 15 years. Of course, he's done more than a guy who's 26 years old, right? And just had his big step up versus Chris Algieri. So that's not even the debate. So you go see some crazy comments in there. But that's one person who was speaking out, if you will, for Errol Spence Jr. Then you had, I believe it was the Boxing Voice. Shout out to them. They did an interview with John David Jackson. And you guys can head over there and check that out. He said Errol Spence Jr. is still overhyped. He don't care what no one says. Boxing Voice. Chris Algieri trainer John David Jackson, Errol Spence Jr. is still a hype job. And if you go to that video, 73 likes, 161 dislikes. So a lot of people didn't like what he had to say. He basically said, even though Errol Spence Jr. stopped my fighter, he's still a hype job. And I'm not really giving him credit. And I thought that was kind of a sour grapes way for the trainer to respond. But you guys can check that out in the Boxing Voice. Now back to the issue at hand, because people said Oh, there's nobody hating on Errol Spence Jr. I mean, I'm giving you example after example. Freddie Roach is making comments. John David Jackson, his fighter, got stopped. First time he's been stopped in boxing, and he says he's still a hype job. And then now, look at it. Kell Brook throws shade at possible future mandatory Errol Spence Jr. And I told you guys this was the case. The growing hate. Now, this is the thing. I like Kell Brook. I think he's a hell of a welterweight, probably one of the best welterweights, with Pacquiao and Mayweather allegedly retired, right? Errol Spence still has more to prove, but I am realistic. That's a good fight as far as I'm concerned, right? And this is the thing, and the reason this happens, I'm going to try to drop a gem for you guys. The reason this happens is when someone looks good, looks sharp, and becomes a threat, that's when people make the most fuss. Terrence Crawford starts looking splendid, people start going crazy. Oh, he needs to fight Victor Postal. Why does he fight Pacquiao? You know what I'm saying? When he's coming off of a good, sharp performance. Same thing with Errol Spence Jr. You see, it's like people get more mad that you did good in the fight. You know what I mean? He demolished Chris Algieri, and he did that something Ruslan Provodnikov, a power guy, Manny Pacquiao, an experienced guy who's a southpaw with power, and also Amir Khan, none of them were able to do, and Errol Spence Jr. was able to get it out. And this is out of that whole bunch, Ruslan, Pacquiao, Amir Khan, this is the least pro-level experience. Ruslan, by the time he fought Chris Algieri, he had already fought Timothy Bradley. He had already fought guys like Mike Alvarado and Mauricio Herrera. He had already fought great fighters. This was his step up fighting Chris Algieri. He hadn't fought any great fighters that are known commodities and known names in the sport of boxing. So it is impressive because he's 26, he's younger than them dudes, and then he's also, this was supposed to be his big step up test. But again, when someone starts presenting themselves and becoming more of a threat, then that's when you see more people speaking out, and it gets crazy. So this is what Kell Brook had to say. But I just wonder if he's got a taste of Jeff Lacy about him. This big hype thing, and look what Joe Calzaghe did to him. I don't know, but I have a feeling like that about him. But we won't know until we get it on. So, in an interview with Sky Sports, Kell Brook basically threw shade at Errol Spence Jr. and says he could be the next Jeff Lacy, Jeff Left Hook Lacy. And again, if you guys want to read the full article, it's all here, and you guys can check it out for yourself. But I think that's kind of ridiculous, because this is how I'm thinking about it. Why would you wait until he has his step up performance and it's almost like an exhibition fight? He does what he's supposed to do. He's the prospect. He's the one being touted and being praised, and he demolishes a guy like Chris Algieri, who at least knows how to survive, big fight experience, more big fight experience than Errol Spence Jr. And guys like Pacquiao, Amir Khan, and also Ruslan were not able to stop him. So you wait for that, and then all of a sudden you make the comments that, oh, he could be the next Jeff Left Hook Lacy. To me, that doesn't make sense unless you feel he's a threat, because why would you wait till he has his career best win, career best performance, looks good, especially given the name, and then all of a sudden you're saying, oh, there's shades of Jeff Left Hook Lacy, and that's clearly an insult. That's clearly a jab, because nobody wants to be likened to a person that never reached their full potential. There's guys in the sport like Audley Harrison, Olympic gold medalist, I believe, and as a pro, he just didn't transition well. Same thing with Jeff Left Hook Lacy. He was known as the boogeyman and a big threat. Jermaine Taylor, guys like that, they never reached their full potential. Yeah, they did some things, like Jermaine Taylor beat Bernard Hopkins twice, something no one else has really done twice. But they never reached that echelon. Kelly Pavlik's, guys like that, they didn't reach the potential that a lot of people thought they could reach or would reach. So it's clearly a Kell Brook jab to compare him to Jeff Left Hook Lacy. You know what I mean? A guy who got beat up by Joe Calzaghe. And again, what's the basis? What are you basing it off of? Because he had a career best performance against Chris Algieri. Now, I'm a realistic person. Errol Spence Jr., he still has more to prove. He's 26. But that was a good step in the right direction. He moved the needle in the right direction. And I don't see why you would wait for that precise moment to make that comparison to Jeff Left Hook Lacy. So I believe Kell Brook thinks Errol Spence is a threat. That's why he made that statement, just to throw insult. And here's the other thing. the IBF ordered an eliminator. There's an article on the website. Make sure you guys check that out. And this is what's supposed to happen next. Errol Spence Jr. versus the next guy in line, who I actually met him too. I forgot how to pronounce his name. Konstantin Talent Ponomarev, right? Those are the two guys, and they're supposed to square off. The winner faces Kell Brook. So my thing is this: if you think this man is Jeff Left Hook Lacy, right? This kid, I've met, like I said, I met him. He's a real cool kid and everything. Errol Spence would clearly be the favorite in the fight. They're both undefeated, but trust me, Errol Spence would be the betting favorite over him. I've seen them both fight, and I'm not saying he has no chance, Ponomarev. I'm not saying he has no chance, but Errol Spence would clearly be the favorite. Point blank, period. So my thing is this: if Kell Brook honestly believes that this is Jeff Left Hook Lacy 2.0, why don't you pay Ponomarev step aside money? And I'm sure he's never had no big fights. So, and Kell Brook makes good money, Sky Sports, Eddie Hearn and stuff like that. Why don't you pay that kid step aside money and then go straight away and fight him, right? Fight Errol Spence Jr. Say, you know what, I'm gonna pay this kid step aside money, and then maybe he can fight the winner of me and Errol Spence Jr. So I doubt that will happen. That's my whole point. And I'm not saying he's scared of Errol Spence Jr., but if you're gonna throw shade, you gotta back it up. And I would love to just go straight into, because realistically, who wants to, if you have a choice as boxing fans, you had a choice to see Errol Spence Jr. versus Kell Brook straight away, or see Errol Spence Jr. versus Ponomarev. Who would you honestly pick? Most boxing fans with a brain would pick this. I have to see the eliminator. I mean, truth be told, I don't even know if Ponomarev wants to fight Errol Spence Jr. Sometimes people opt out of eliminators. It just, if they got an undefeated fighter, maybe they want to build him. Maybe after seeing the Chris Algieri Errol Spence fight, they might not want to go straight into it, and they want to wait and build their fighter. So I don't even know. But if Kell Brook thinks this is Jeff Lacy, why doesn't he fight him? And the other thing that I think, and I have to, and this is what I do on Boxing Ego with new media, right? I'm straight up. I like Kell Brook, but I just think the Jeff Lacy comparison was an inappropriate dig. And what are you basing it off? Like I said, why would you wait till he has his best performance to make that comparison? If he went in there with Chris Algieri and he was getting punched upside the face and wasn't dominant, that's one thing. But just to show you guys what it is, August 15th, 2004, I made this video. This was my Bika versus Darrell and Sean Porter versus Kell Brook prediction video. Just so you know, I don't have nothing against Kell Brook. I, in fact, picked Kell Brook to beat Sean Porter, and I was right. Ego prediction. Listen. Just a couple different things I started thinking about, and I'm actually going to go for the wild card. I'm going to go for Kell Brook for the upset. And the reason being is, one, I told you guys in a previous video that Sean Porter, to me, looked a little dry. So you guys, I don't delete videos. The videos are still up. I just want you to show there's no bias. Like, I hate Kell Brook. I actually put a lot of people on Kell Brook before he even became a champion and that kind of stuff. But I call it like I see, and I call it down the middle. And I think the Jeff Lacy comparison is unwarranted based on what I've seen from him. Like, what inklings, what signs has he showed you that he's the next Jeff Lacy? And again, Joe Calzaghe, he's a fighter that retired undefeated. He's a great fighter. So, I mean, Lacy lost to Joe Calzaghe, who's considered a memorable fighter who beat Roy Jones or Bernard Hopkins. You can say they're past prime or whatever, but he still beat them, right? And it is what it is. But what in Errol Spence Jr.'s career have you seen that would lead you to believe that he isn't going to amount to what he is? And again, like I said, if you really feel that way, then why don't you pay the step aside money and fight him straight away? So the other thing I have to keep in mind is that comparison. When you look at Kell Brook's career, it doesn't make sense given the fact that ever since the Sean Porter fight, Kell Brook has had soft opposition with mandatories. Two mandatories allegedly, but he hasn't fought no one the caliber of Porter since Porter, right? Errol Spence Jr. is showing all the promise in the world, so make a statement with them. You're both undefeated. Whoever wins that, it goes to the next level automatically, and they'll be an IBF champion, right? So pay the kid some step aside money. And I just need to see more from Kell Brook. I think he has all the potential to be one of the future best welterweights without Pacquiao and Mayweather in the equation since they're retired. And this will be an awesome showdown to showcase that. And I really see a decline with Kell Brook. He's regressed. He was fighting, like, let's say he fought like Carson Jones, then he had a rematch, Carson Jones, then he fought Sinchenko and stopped him, and then he got to Sean Porter, title fight. Sean Porter was a champion, and I think he might have been coming off the Paulie Malignaggi win. So I'm like, yeah, okay, he stepped up in competition, right? Keep in mind, Kell Brook was supposed to fight Devin Alexander before Sean Porter when Devin Alexander had the belt. And guess what? The fight fell apart 3 times. 2 times because of Kell Brook got injured, allegedly, and then 1 time because Devin Alexander got allegedly injured. So, I mean, to make the Jeff Lacy comparison, that's something else you have to consider. Not only the soft touches since Sean Porter, but he also had fight opportunities to fight like Devin Alexander before Devin Alexander lost to Khan and all that when he was a champion, and for whatever reason the fight didn't happen. 2 times out of the 3 was because of the Kell Brook side, right? These are all facts. You guys can Google and research anything that I'm saying right now. So that Jeff Lacy jab just really makes no sense when you have the career of Kell Brook. I mean, Amir Khan you guys seen in the clip, he was like saying Kell Brook needs to fight a big name. Kell Brook's saying, oh, I'll fight Golovkin at 157 or Eddie Hearn, but we still got to see it. And again, if you're going to fight Gennady Golovkin, then why wouldn't you fight Errol Spence Jr. straight away? Because when it comes to power, I mean, wouldn't you be more worried about Golovkin, who's a middleweight and he's destroying guys at middleweight? Wouldn't you be more worried about his power than Errol Spence Jr.? Plus, Gennady Golovkin has 350 plus amateur fights. He has a 24 knockout streak, 22 knockout streak or whatever. So why wouldn't you fight this kid who's 26 and is kind of learning on the job, has Olympic background, but he hasn't done as much as a pro and fought some of the, you know what I mean, Golovkin has fought at least top 15 middleweights. It just, his middleweight division isn't really stacked, so we want to see him in there with the elite name. But either way, he's still done more than Errol Spence Jr. has fought. So why don't you just fight him right off the bat? So I like Kell Brook. I just got to see more from him. And if you want to make a statement, if you feel this kid is Jeff Lacy, then show us your Joe Calzaghe. You're from the UK. Show us your Joe Calzaghe and fight him right off the bat. That's what I think. Drop it in the comment section, share the video, let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like the video as always. Hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego signing off. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button. And you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxing Ego, the future of boxing.